This is Minuet 2 by Bach. It's in G major also, and it's in 3/4. Since Minuet is a dance, the stress goes on the first beat, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, in 3/4. 3 counts in the measure, quarter note gets 1 count. Now this minuet starts with arpeggios, so you have to be very careful to play on one string at a time. The note you're on with your left hand, your right hand has to be right on the right string so that you'll get a clear sound. Also, there's the bowing, up, up, like the previous minuet. You have the 2 dots, dot over each note with the slur marking. It's for bowing, so you go in the same direction. And then also later in the first section, we have a triplet. It has a little 3 underneath the beam of the 3 notes. That means you play those 3 notes in 1 count. So naturally you have to play them a little faster to fit 3 notes in 1 count instead of 2/8 notes. And then also later in this piece we have a D sharp, which is something different. It's the 3rd finger on the A string, but you have to reach a little higher, closer to you. So you have to be sure your form is right so that your thumb is here and you are curved around with your elbow under the violin. That way you can reach your 3rd finger up high enough. And that saves a lot of practice time if you get your elbow around so you can reach. So it's 1, 3, and then there's a 4 right next to it. That's an E. And you keep your fingers down, so once you get the 3, put the 4 down, you need the 3 right again. Then they give you open E after that. Now this form is, there's a first section which is repeated, and the second section is repeated. One other bowing technique in the second section is when they have 2 notes with a slur and then the next note separate. Make sure you save your bow so you have room for the last note. So it's like, see, the last note has to be comfortable. Okay, now I'll play Minuet. It says andantino, which is like a little walking tempo. Also on that arpeggio in the beginning, I like to keep my first finger down because then it's going to go over to the E string. Of course, I lift it off a little to do that, so slowly it's 1, 3, 2, open, and I roll over to the E string, and then half step. So 3, 1, 3, 2 is close. Roll over 1 while I do open A. First finger on the E and 2 is close. It makes the bowing easier when your left hand is easier.